I think we're going, Jim. I think it's working. This sounds like a reprisal of our
Don't
last
make me
one.
laugh already. I'm coughing.
Well, I've been having some glitches, some mysterious stuff. Like on my search thing, I use Firefox, for example. It's been crashing my tabs all morning. It's been going off and on, and
Really?
my monitors have been going blank.
The
And
world's going insane, Terry. By the way, audience, this is the Jim and Terry show. I happen to be Jim. That happens to be Terry.
I'm the Terry.
I'm the Jim.
We are with our coffee, having had breakfast.
Good coffee, too. Oh,
and
good breakfast.
We've got a couple of current events to just deal with because the world is coming to an end.
It is. It's done.
That's Armageddon Jim, not Alex Jones Jim.
Yeah.
Armageddon
Oh,
Jim.
no, I agree with him. I agree with him.
The interpretation of current events does not bode well for the future.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start with Florida.
All right. Well, Florida, what a mess. I actually watched cops yesterday as all these tornadoes were going on in a completely other area of Florida as a result of the hurricane coming. They're deadly, by the way. People have died in those tornadoes. They were out in the Tampa Bay area or Clearwater area trying to talk a guy out of a 30-foot sailboat.
Trying to talk him out of the boat.
In
Get
the
out
water,
of the boat, sir.
where his covering was a tarp. And they're saying, please, you're going to die. Leave. Get out of your boat and leave. And that's where I left it. There were two cops trying to say,
Okay.
please, sir, get out of here.
Reprise the story you told me at breakfast this morning.
Oh, but the guy up to his neck in water? Yeah.
During the previous hurricane.
Yeah, Helen. Anyways, a woman was being interviewed, and they're staying. And she said, the last one, my husband spent the night in 5 foot of water all night. And then when sunlight came and the water went down enough, he went to bed on his bed. Can you imagine how soggy that would be? And they're staying.
For the second one.
For the
Milton.
second one. Now, as
My
I understand it, I think they were going to be in a condominium. I don't know where it was last time. I'm guessing it's property protection. That's what I'm thinking.
You stay on your piece of property because you're the only one who's going to defend it? Gosh darn it.
I guess. And don't worry about it. The hurricane will take care of any robbers.
Well, cool. All right, so that's Hurricane Milton is the one currently ravaging Florida, and it's supposed to go out to sea, is it not?
Yeah, it's the first one I can remember ever that hit the one coast as a hurricane and left the coast as a hurricane. So it'll turn into a tropical storm. There's another twist to this, too, which is interesting. I heard a meteorologist, and I wasn't alone when I heard it, that it was going to turn into a cyclone.
Really?
And I don't know how that can even be.
I don't know the definitions. This would be from NOAA to decide. NOAA, the National Oceanographic, whatever it is, AA.
I'd never heard of that before either.
Oh, yeah, they're the weather national.
No, I've heard of them. I meant I've never heard of a hurricane turning into a cyclone, which got us to look online and everything. What is a cyclone?
So what did you find out?
Well, a cyclone in the north, I think, is counterclockwise, just like a hurricane.
Oh, so it's the direction of spin.
And in the south, it's the other way. And I always just thought the Pacific was where you had your cyclones.
Yeah, you thought
Indian
it was
Ocean, the Pacific, and the Atlantic, and
it's a
Gulf
hurricane.
of Mexico, and everything had the hurricanes.
Right.
So I'm a little bit confused still.
Right. Well, don't look for clarity from the Jim and Terry show. We're just two retired guys with a coffee.
And I love it. That's how it's supposed to be.
So we have a lot of questions, and that's how it's supposed to be, too.
Yeah.
Maybe not a lot of factual answers, although we do try to at least be aware.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
empathy.
The beginning of this whole show, the creation of it was not having all the answers. It was just, have you heard?
Right.
And then, what's your opinion on this? And just the uneducated opinions, kind of good as well.
Yeah,
until I find out the facts.
As informed as we can be, given the facts at the time and our access to those facts. So there's a couple of layers of that. But okay. So empathy from us, the Jim and Terry Show. Shout out to Floridians or whatever you
Floridians,
called them.
that's what I call them.
Who are suffering. And people who are suffering everywhere, not just in Florida during a moment of a hurricane, although this is the second one in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
Unbelievable. So, our, dare I say, thoughts and prayers go out to people who are suffering. It's empathy. It makes us human when we feel for other people's suffering.
Yeah.
Now, that was just catching up on the weather report. Let's get into the news.
Well, part of the weather report, I just want to reflect the thing that bothers me as much as this was a catastrophic hurricane, but it didn't have as bad of an effect as a lot of people may have thought it had. And this bothers me because it'll weaken people's awareness. The authorities were right. If it had been a little bit more north, Tampa Bay would have had 10 feet of water, the whole place. It's flooded, but not 10 feet. So people go, okay, maybe I can stay next time.
That's right.
Because it moves south down a bit. And so I thank God for that stuff. I go, thank you, it wasn't as bad as they thought it was.
Yep.
But on the other hand, then you're going to get someone in their stupid little boat thinking I can ride this out. And no, you can't. Because the time you decide you're going to do that, you're going to die. And people will be dead in this hurricane. And it's mostly probably because of some foolishness. They didn't take precautions.
Decisions, or lack thereof.
All right, now move on.
Okay, move on to the second thing. This was a morning of catching up on issues. Yeah. I mentioned a conference in Ottawa at the end of the month, October 29th to 31st, on Unhoused or Homelessness. So this is a national conference in Ottawa. And one of the podcasters that I enjoy participating with, they have now got official journalist status to attend this.
Status? To attend this?
Yes. Status means that
I thought you said staffist. I thought you were being biblical or something. Thouist.
Oh.
I thought you said staffist.
Oh, no. Their status means you're a card-carrying member of the, CBC, CFTO, CTV, and all the other mainstream media and your local newspapers and all of them. So I'm kind of curious to see how these gentlemen will do as reporters. They're not trained journalists. One's a comms person, so I did a degree in communications, and that's fine. The other one I'm not sure of, but I'm interested to see what are your eyes and ears on the ground at this big conference? What are solutions? I'm very curious about Canada's context because I just listened to 60 Minutes, ABC, Lester Holt, and a whole bunch of U.S.-based, mainly L.A., Seattle, Chicago, New York, talking about homelessness and the link between mental health, drug addiction, homelessness, and recidivism, where you are a repeat offender. They catch you because you're doing something, put you in the back of the cruiser, handcuff you, take you to the station,
let you out, and you don't go to court,
and you don't.
And now you got a summons,
and you do it again.
Yeah,
and the amount of human resources, taxpayer money resources. So there is a financial thing to this as well as the layer of humanity. How do we best express our care for others? Is it by bulldozing homeless encampments, or is it by using government buildings to create housing stock?
Government buildings, Terry, I know you're not going to like what I'm going to say, is going to be a nightmare. I'll tell you why. In part of that survey, you said 100% of them had mental issues.
Yes.
Some of them could cope and go, wow, I'm in a place of my own, I'm going to care for it. Some of them are mentally nuts, and they're not going to do anything. And I've seen many videos of where there's a home and there's 8 people in it. And I know this firsthand because I know my pastor put a guy up and really did everything he could for it. The guy had friends over, they did drugs in the hotel room, peed outside and just ruined it for anybody else who wanted to come along. I don't know what to do to fix the situation. You can't have gangs of homeless because if you look in Los Angeles, look at the main railroad run where they raid. This is just like out of the Western days. They raid the trains, rip open the things, and what they don't want, they just throw out. So now you've got these valleys of garbage. Just garbage.
Just following the tracks?
Well, because you're homeless, you're not going to want a blender. It's in the way. You throw that out, but you may want an iPad. I don't know. You might want that. And so they're just ripping the places, ripping that whole thing apart. And
These
I don't
are
think
stationary trains that they are invading.
Actually moving trains as well.
Wow.
They run up just like you would think, hop on, get it, break the lock, and open it up and throw it out to the guys running beside the train.
So they must have some kind of technology to break a lock?
Well, that only takes those, which they probably stole. I don't know. But, but they the big pincers that pinch it and just break it, and like the cops have them. Bang, the lock's broken. And that's what now it was years ago I saw a thing on that. And the main track going out of Los Angeles was a hellhole. It was just a hellhole of garbage spewed everywhere.
So we're talking about apocalyptic kind of scenarios.
Well, as you said, some of these camps, they surveyed 100. 100 were druggies, 100 were mental issues, and they were homeless. That's 100. 100 people in any community who are desperate, insane, drug addicted, with no means of getting those drugs, you can see the danger right there. And so I don't know what the solution is to mankind here, other than if I don't go into religion and all that, but the solution's hard.
Yeah, I think we do need to separate housing and immigration and addiction and mental health, if we can separate those rather than putting them all wrapped up together and maybe going at one at a time.
I got an idea. I like what you said about the 6-plex or the 4-plex. I like that idea. Each person owns one of those plex, like Habitat for Humanity
mini
type
homes
idea.
And that kind of thing.
But I think you need to qualify it somewhat to do that. And I think it could be instead of everybody fighting against each other, this isn't good, this is good. Yeah. The people who make an agreement between landowners and builders, the government being the finance about this, come together somehow and come to a solution that can be worked out that would make them safe places, and at the same time give these people an upstart, and with the promise of you can sell this and make a profit, in the marketplace.
That's an interesting solution. Come together seems to be the last word from Jim this morning. Now. I like it. Who knows where we'll go in the next podcast? Stay tuned, The Jim and Terry Show. I'm Terry.
I'm Jim.
And together we are the people with the latest
Coffee Drunks.
Coffee Talks. Bye-bye for now.